And we have with us someone coming from C2, and I'm going to tell you that C2 is one of the most innovative conference in the world, which generates an uncommon enthusiasm in both meeting professionals and business people for its new formats and focus on understanding, engaging with, stimulating its participants to generate experiences which stimulate creativity and business. C2 is the conference, which takes place in Montreal, and it's a 3-day international conference which puts together business and creativity. And it's a privilege for us to have here today someone from this organization. C2 is participated, and maybe I'll ask a bit more about these details. It was created by the creative agency Sid Lee in partnership with Cirque du Soleil. And those two icons have been always in our mind as models where to get inspiration and focus and look at them for inspiration and ideas. So it's a privilege today to have here Anick Beaulieu. Anick, I see you there. How are you doing? It's so good.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. I don't know how much you know about Group Event Applause and the things we do, but we love what you guys do from the other side of the ocean, and it's a real privilege to have you here with us today. So,
and it's a privilege to be here. My Spanish is a little rusty because we haven't been able to travel much, but I got married in Spain 2 years ago, so it's a dear place in my heart.
Oh,
yeah.
Where did that beautiful thing happen?
In Emporda.
Oh, in Ronda. Oh my God. It's super romantic, right? Okay, so welcome, Anick. When I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her, just a few words. But Anick, she's got a marketing and economics degree from HEC Montreal, and she spent a number of years as co-entrepreneur in real estate, but then joined C2 sales team in 2015. She's been adding to that sales part, business development and partnerships, and now she's in charge of developing C2 via partnerships with major brands, as I understand. So she's here with us. She's Vice President for Growth and Partnerships for C2 International, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to tell our audience, which is the Spanish event and MICE market, basically. So welcome, Anick. And time is yours.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. So I do know a little bit about Grupo Inventos. Eric was kind enough to invite me here, and I'm really happy to be with you guys today. So what we're going to talk about, I guess, is a bit of the journey we've had in the last couple of months / year in reinventing the model for experience design through the lens of. So as we just got introduced at C2, we see ourselves as conveners of communities, and we do that through rich experiences and compelling content. And we used to focus a lot on the physical portion of experiences, but with the last couple of months, I guess we fast-tracked our digital transformation. And I know that we've all this is an events, and MICE industry event. It was a hard couple of months. But at the same time, I feel that our industry was a little bit slow at reinventing itself and really go through that digitalization. And I feel that, when we look at what this situation right now, COVID brought to us, probably in 2 or 3 years from now, we will see that the experience we're now able to build are much richer than they were pre-COVID. So most of you guys, or if you guys know of us, it's probably for our flagship event, C2 Montreal. So we've won a bunch of different awards. And I think what's really different about this event is that we really bring commerce and creativity together to drive a transformative experience. So we care a lot about environment design. We have many different creative principles that we're exploring in order to build environments that are metaphorical for the content we will explore in them. So we've won many different accolades from our industry. And now what we do basically since the last 4 years is that we take the expertise from C2 Montreal and we apply it to other clients, large corporations that want to tap into our creative spirit to create more engaging experiences for their clients. So we're gonna roll a video. So Christina, please help me here. It's about a minute, but I think it's gonna set the move as to where we want to go as a company, who we are now, and some of the things that we're working on. Thank you. So when we look at, the landscape of where we are right now, I mean, definitely we've seen, a lot of evolution and disruption in the way we need to create these experiences and these events. And I guess, we like to look at some of the objectives and the context. And this is really the premise under which we're going to start defining what is the big question we're trying to answer and how we can look at, different ways to create rich experiences and ones that are engaging. So I think for us, the number one thing is really focusing on connecting and energizing community. And I think the connection and the energization is difficult or is more difficult in the online because we're all sitting in our own home, just like you and me right now. So it's harder to create those connections. So we really need to focus on improving this aspect. One of the amazing outcome of digital, though, is the capacity to really expand audiences. So, I'm here with you guys straight from my living room, and you're all connected in Spain, or somewhere across Europe. So we're really looking at ways to capitalize on the possibility to grow our audiences and connect people from all over the world when we're designing experiences online. We want to renew the experience. And I think one of the aspect we're focusing a lot on right now is really to find ways to incorporate networking in every single format that we will do online. And then we want to increase the engagement at all stages of the experience. So how can we take the event, treat it a bit like a content creating studio and a connection, like the peak engagement of the community, but find a way to really build a longer engagement period through, rich storytelling before, during, and after the event. And in terms of context, I think, we can all agree that there's a lot of uncertainty right now. And there has been for a while, in the last couple of months. But now I think we know that there will be change that will stay. There are ways that people will act or premises that will remain. People still crave for proximity and togetherness. We're now used to online meetings and we're used to remote collaboration. I think we were all scared at the beginning, will work continue even if we're not in the office? We've proven that even delivering, complex project is possible. So that unlocks a multitude of opportunities. How will people react, in terms of traveling? Will companies still pay a lot for corporate transportation? Will people be comfortable? Will speaker want to, attend various events? So that's still a bit uncertain. But one thing for sure is that everything we're developing now, we see it as something that will remain in the future. I think there's fundamental change that happens at some point that it's not possible to go back on. And, that digital transformation definitely is one of it. So some of the things that we're looking at when we design these experiences are the different needs, right? So you don't necessarily have the same needs when you're on site at an event than when you are in your living room. So when we're looking at on-site participant need, it's really the feeling of proximity and togetherness, the strong face-to-face interaction. So how can we really speed up the connection level so that people really benefit maximum from the time they are together? Access to international connection and global perspective as well. So how do we make sure that, there's a richness of the type of people? And then inspiration through the physical environment, the ambiance and the energy. And we have a point of view that, in the next couple of months, years, face-to-face meetings, so physical meetings, will become a premium experience. So there will be necessity to invest in, the environment design and in all of the, surroundings and feelings and environment really at the event, so that people feel that there is a reason to go on site, even if we have been used at doing the digital thing for a while. Then when we're looking at online participants, I think it's about privileged access to the experience. So even if you're not there, you still want to be part of it. You still want to feel like you're part of the community. You want to have those live content and experiences. And it's great to be able to access video on demand, but why would we attend a specific event as a specific moment? We really think that, the live component is extremely important and engaging. Then the feeling of being there, the possibility to interact. So even if you're remote, how do we create that link? Then also it's a different engagement, right? Like when you're captive at an event, you will be there for 2-3 days or a full day. When people are home, you're basically competing with everything else they have to do in their home, but also their cell phone, work, emails, maybe their kid, their dog. So it's short engagement, but for intense period. And then, the whole UX, how do we create interfaces that are stimulating, that are modern, that are engaging? And I guess all of that leads to the burning question. And when we design, this is really what we're trying to answer. How can we craft and design experiences that will cater to the needs of on-site and online participant while creating significant connection between them? And, we come up with that by adding a digital layer to physical events. So taking what we do physically, but adding that digital layer. Also making sure that everything that is a C2 pillar in terms of experience is present. So when you're looking at environment design, celebration aspect, that's very important. We have a festive spirit, inspiration, a 5-star experience. So making sure that everybody feels special, everybody feels like, they've been taking into consideration in the design, and then really focusing on those connections. Then we want to create innovative bridges between the two worlds. So find creative ways to build that bridge. And then, we felt that at some point it was important for us to build our own product, our own platform on digital, so that, just a little like a venue, and maybe there are venue people in the audience, we wanted to create our own space. We wanted to create a space that allowed us to express our creativity. So when we're looking at, our approach to physical digital experiences, we really want to enhance the existing assets. So, let's say we're looking at a C2 conference, we would have conferences, we would have masterclass, workshop. So how can we take these formats and create a digital layer that will make them interesting? Then we also want to bridge the two worlds, right? So ensure that there are interactions between online and on-site participants. And we'll go through a few of these ideas together. And I guess this was really just to, to highlight some of the ways that we've thought about that. And then create new assets, because we also want to have assets that are just available for online participants, so that people that are not there physically still think that there's a reason for them to connect online. So we're going to look at a small teaser video for some of the phygital components that we've created. So Christina, you can roll the video. Thank you, Christina. So some examples for enhancing existing assets. So, for sure, live streaming. So there's a lot of broadcasts happening. And, I think everybody in the events business can know that this is something important now. But we're also looking at different ways to make that broadcast exciting and to really create an experience that will be unique. So, maybe having a point of view, a POV camera that, gives the impression to people who are looking that they're actually in the room as if they were sitting there. Really look at, making it exciting as well. Like, so let's say, leveraging all of the engagement features that are available on event platforms. So, the likes, the emojis, the chats. One of the things that we found was really amazing was to be able to get feedback live during the conferences. And we've leveraged that to then create online breakout rooms live after the event, right? So let's say there's a conference, you have here Angela Harrens, who used to be VP at Apple's. So when you have people commenting on the side, then we'll open up a breakout room after that so that they can go and pursue the conversation. So that acts as a way to create connection with people and make sure that whatever happened during the online experience can be continued and can, create a dialogue that will expand after that. Masterclasses. So this is a format that we've reintroduced for our online events, and they're really awesome. But the way we do it is we really focus on having the speaker prepared and interact with the audience. So ask the question, make sure that people are engaged, make sure that they are part of the experience, making sure that the speaker is well prepared and that he refers to some of the answers, and then can interact directly with some people and see why they answered a certain thing. Then for sure, making sure that all of the documents are there. There's the possibility of downloading whatever presentation was made. So that's really something that, was not necessarily possible live during an event that we've started leveraging a lot more. On-site workshops, so that's similar. It's basically leveraging like virtual breakout rooms, and breaking out in different smaller groups, doing that, feedback after that in the broader session. So leveraging the different features. And that was one of the reasons why we, at some point, felt that it was important for us to develop our own C2 Agora platform. Then I think one of the most exciting assets that we've thought about over the years, and that we had introduced prior to COVID, but it was the aquarium. So the aquarium is a beautiful content capture studio, but it really enables us to bridge the on-site and online experience. So what you see here is basically a speaker that was on a stage that was then introduced to that studio, and that can be broadcast or live on social media or an event platform. It's a different kind of contact. It enriches and it allows us to go more in depth with some of the speakers, but it also enables us to, give an access to content that looks beautiful. I mean, I did a lot of efforts to try to bring some greenery behind, but I think we all have seen a lot of, Zoom calls and stuff. So we feel that the importance of creating environments and a visual signature, even if we are online, is important. Then when you look at existing assets, so we really felt that, multimedia was always something very important to create some excitement. So like good countdown videos, develop a signature sound so that people, when they hear that sound, they feel excited, there's emotion. And this is even more important when you're online because you want to create kind of a ritual. You want to also be able to express the brand that you're working with or your own conference brand and make sure that you're kind of creating that aspect. Same for artistic performance. So it's a great way to be able to leverage local talent and, really create an experience that is unique to the event that you're planning. Then when we're looking at bridging assets, so this is really exciting because it's not just about adding that layer of digital, it's really about creating those interactions between people that are on site and people that are online. So true phygital, right? The baromètre for us is an experience that allows us to measure the temperature in the room, right? Measure what people feel about certain questions or topics. And what we've done is basically create a way to leverage applications like Slido, for instance, and really be able to visualize what the whole audience, so both online and on-site, can think about a certain question. So let's say here, you see the orange, you see the blue. The question might have been like, when do you feel most creative? Is it when you're on the beach, when you're on top of a mountain, when you're commuting to the office? And then by asking the question, people answer with one of the color, and it allows us to really see the landscape and everybody's opinion. So this is great because you might be 100 in a room, but if there's 1,000 people connected online, then you have 1,100 people responding. It creates a great narrative. Everybody feels included. Agora, so this is really, maybe a little bit more focused on creating spaces and experiences that are very strong from a visual signature on site. So think about creating a museum where you are actually accessing online content. So, people can listen to that content physically, but with headphones, really creating this engaging experience between whatever happens online and whatever happens on site, but really focus on creating beautiful environments so that people that, have made the effort to go on the venue can benefit from something that's really beautiful and curated and feels a bit like a museum. The C2 Connect Lounge. So this one definitely is interesting because we spoke a lot about, how difficult it is to have the same notion of proximity and connection when we're behind a screen. So we're doing a lot of thinking around, how can we create, let's say, a booth where someone physically connects with someone digitally. Maybe we end up that meeting with a photo booth activation that captures both participants. We thought about having arcade machine screens for chat roulette, right? So you might be on site, you have a bunch of people that are willing to participate in networking, you do the roulette, and you end up meeting someone that is online. And one way that we also try to encourage networking during events is by having a C2 Connect concierge. So really people, for sure we leverage AI and, connection based on similar interests. But it's also about that human touch. So how can we really say, we think that Eric and Anick should be talking because they seem to have a lot in common, and then make that introduction, make sure that there's that special touch, and going back also to the 5-star service we were discussing a bit earlier. The beams. So, is there a way to create tour site using beams, right? So this lovely lady here could, go through a site that is physical, meet someone, and be accompagné, be directed by a concierge once again to really live this special experience and feel that, she's part of it and that she's there physically, even maybe say hi to people that are at the event. Virtual backstage sessions, so this is a way to create content that is exclusive online. So how can we give access to like meet and greets, but only available to online people? Same thing with workshops, so that there's a special type of programming for people who are connected online. Online art canvas. So, we've explored having artists that create work sessions for online participant and do a collaborative digital artwork that can be then shared. A conversation cafe. So really think about spaces where, people can just jump in, go into different breakout rooms and explore content that was maybe talked about earlier during the conference. Modelization for sure. So, are there ways to recreate the exact online? So really, look at different mapping, SketchUps, so that people feel they are living kind of the same experience. And then the engagement strategy. And I think this one has been really important. So how do we create excitement? How do we make sure that people do log in at some point, knowing that, people connect less a bit online. The dropout rate is more important. So we really need to focus on being sophisticated from a marketing perspective and a storytelling perspective to really get people to actually go log in, spend some time on the platform, and be part of the story. So really building the excitement before, driving peak community engagement during, and then building that loyalty after the event. So, this is something that we've focused a lot on in the last couple of months. Even having like very sophisticated social strategies during the event, because we know that digital is a little bit less like, Instagrammable and all of that, but we still want the events to make some noise. And I'm going to leave you on the last video because my time is up, but this is where we want the future to go. I think we're all excited of, seeing more live components happening, but we think that there might be smaller formats of events. And so we're going to leave you on this inspiration new format that we're working on, which is called the Spark. So Christina, you can roll it up. And thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to have to leave you now. Bye. Come to C2.